A portal opened deep inside Castle Oblivion, and the Nightmare Tyrant pulled Lisa through it. Following behind them was Bart, concerned for his sister, and the soldier who led them to the Nightmare Tyrant in the first place. Waiting in the throne room were the Nightmare Lord Frieza, and the head of the Nightmare Court, Blitz.
Come on, Bartimaeus. I've been waiting for you.
The Nightmare Tyrant said.
I am prepared to fight you, Tyrant.
The King of the Silver River said.
Come near me and I will slit your sister's throat.
The Nightmare Tyrant said.
You won't be taking anywhere near me.
Oh, but I will.
The Nightmare Tyrant said. With a blood-curdling scream, the Nightmare Tyrant charged at Bartimaeus, who, in turn, charged at him, and they engaged in a fight to the death.
What a shame. Such a strong child, and he will die so young.
The Nightmare Tyrant said. The Nightmare Tyrant lunged at Bartimaeus. The King of the Silver River met the lunge with a single thrust of his sword. The sword's blade glimmered with the light coming from the Nightmare Tyrant's eyes. A small orb of light burned at the end of the blade. The Nightmare Tyrant screamed and recoiled from the sword, stumbling backwards.
Little fool, you think you can slay the Nightmare Tyrant? Hey, you will fail.
The Nightmare Tyrant sent a blast of dark lightning at the King of the Silver River. Bartimaeus jumped out of the way, but the blast still hit him full force, and the light around his body exploded. His body cracked and shattered into thousands of pieces.
No.
Lisa screamed. She ran towards her brother, and she too was met with a blast of dark lightning. As the lightning engulfed her, Bartimaeus dove at the Nightmare Tyrant.
What?
The Nightmare Tyrant shouted. He was sure the boy had been killed.
Ha! You think you can slay an elder god? I will destroy you.
Bartimaeus made a leap at the Nightmare Tyrant. He landed a hit, but the Tyrant simply laughed and stepped aside. He pointed his sword at Bartimaeus, who was now on his knees, and said,
Finish it, boy. I cannot kill you until I kill your sister.
The Nightmare Tyrant slashed his sword and sliced through Bartimaeus' heart.
No.
Lisa screamed. She lunged at the Nightmare Tyrant, but he simply swung his sword and split her head open.
No.
Bartimaeus' mother, Marge, ran towards the Nightmare Tyrant. She raised her axe and was about to strike at the Nightmare Tyrant, but he caught her arm.
You cannot defeat me. I am eternal, you are not.
The Nightmare Tyrant said.
Let go of me.
Marge screamed. The Nightmare Tyrant laughed, and Marge struggled to get out of his grasp, but he held fast.
You are trapped. You cannot defeat me.
The Nightmare Tyrant said.
Let go. I'll give you anything you want.
The Nightmare Tyrant laughed and said,
I want your world destroyed. The Nightmare Court shall rule the shattered remains. I will give you one last chance to surrender. The world will be consumed in fire and darkness. You can save your souls if you wish, and be absorbed into the Nightmare Court, or you can perish and go into the fires.
I cannot let you do this.
Marge said.
I will go with you. You will not. To defy the Nightmare Tyrant is to go into the fires as well. I have always wanted a sibling. I will go into the fires with or without you.
Bartimaeus said. He stood up, was about to walk away. The Nightmare Tyrant said,
You are not going anywhere. You will go into the fires, and you will remain there until this entire world is nothing but ash. I will visit you every night. I will visit you the same way I brought you into this world. I will visit you in fire and darkness. You are my prisoner, Bartimaeus, you and your sister.
Bart was led away.
Bart,
Marge said.
fight him, and you two will go into the fires. It is the only way.
Bartimaeus looked back at Marge and said,
I have a sister. She lives in a castle, a beautiful castle. If I cannot go into the fires, I'll go to her. Now let me go.
The Nightmare Tyrant stared at Bartimaeus and Marge. Before he could say another word, the walls of the castle shook.
Someone is attacking the gates!
Frieza said, looking across the hall.
The gates?
The Nightmare Tyrant said.
Why didn't Bartimaeus mention the gates?
Across the hall, the battle continued.
I will go forth and kill the one responsible for this attack.
The Nightmare Tyrant said.
And then I will return and consume the Simpsons. It is the only way.
The Nightmare Tyrant and his people walked out of the room, leaving Marge and Bart alone together.
Why are you still here?
Bart asked. He looked to Lisa, lying on the floor.
I cannot go with you, and I cannot stay here. I'm trapped.
Marge said.
You cannot defeat the Nightmare Tyrant.
Bart said.
He is eternal. You are not. Look at what he did to Lisa.
Bartimaeus looked at Lisa, who was now nothing but a pile of ashes. Lisa once stood tall and proud, but now she was nothing but a pile of ashes.
I will save as many as I can.
Marge said.
Bart, come with me. We will save as many as we can. No, Mother.
Bart said.
It is better that you stay here. You will be safe, and I will say the one responsible for this attack. I am the one who will go into the fires, and I'll go into the fires. You will be safe here. Farewell.
Marge looked at the ground.
Farewell, Bart.
She said.
Farewell, Mother. May God be with you.
Bart said. Lisa stood up.
I will go with you.
She said, the ring of Solomon glistening on her finger. Bart's eyes widened.
Lisa, you cannot defeat the Nightmare Tyrant.
He said.
He is eternal. You cannot defeat him.
I will go with you, Bart.
Lisa said.
Our journey doesn't end here.
Outside, the castle gates were torn asunder by the attackers. Pearl led the charge, along with Jolene, Roxy, Rainbow Dash, Rarity, and the Grand Alliance. The guards began to fall one after another. It was a massacre. Then, in the distance, the Nightmare Tyrant appeared. Frieza and Blitz followed him.
Surrender or perish.
The Nightmare Tyrant said.
Perish like the rest.
The two sides stared each other down.
Surrender or perish.
Tyrant said once again. Frieza said,
I will not stand by while Castle Oblivion is destroyed.
You're the one who must surrender.
Pearl stated, pointing at the trio with her spear.
Your tyranny ends today.
Never.
Said the Nightmare Tyrant.
I will never surrender. I will never kneel before you fools, but your world perishes.
Frieza drew his sword and said,
I will fight you.
Pearl smirked and said,
Let battle commence.
The two sides rushed one another. Both sides were evenly matched. The Nightmare Tyrant was a master of darkness. He had an arsenal of dark powers, and used them all. The Nightmare Tyrant released screeches and howls that made the hair stand up. He unleashed black tentacles that wrapped around his foes and ripped them to shreds. He made demonic faces that drove those who saw him into laughter and fear. He raised a black cloud that wrapped around his foes and choked the life out of them. He unleashed bolts of black lightning that hit his foes and set them on fire. He made shadow demons that tore his foes apart, that he could not stand against the Grand Alliance. He could not beat the light. The Nightmare Tyrant was a powerful, scary figure, but he was not without his weaknesses. Frieza battled Pearl while Blitz hid from the fight. The Nightmare Tyrant's powers of darkness were weakened in the light, and were countered by Raven's spells.
Why can't we ever be the good guys?
Jolene asked, punching the Nightmare Tyrant in the stomach. The Nightmare Tyrant doubled over and said weakly,
We are not the good guys, Jolene. We are the eternal enemies of the good.
The Nightmare Tyrant's breathing was labored. He was losing. His defenses were failing. Roxy wielded the Black Stone of Volcar, while Rainbow Dash wielded the Emerald Stone of Volcar. Together they blasted the Nightmare Tyrant, sending him flying back into his castle. The battle was over. The Nightmare Tyrant retreated, knowing he could not face the combined power of the stones.
He's not getting away with it.
Roxy shouted.
It's too late.
Jolene said.
He's gone, we won.
No, I won't allow it.
Frieza shouted. He knocked Pearl back, turning his rage onto the others.
You cheated. You're all cheaters. Cheaters never win.
You ate fool.
Jolene said.
It is over.
Yeah. A liar. Liar, liar.
Frieza tore the Black Stone of Volcar away from Roxy. He chuckled as he crushed it in his hand.
You can't win this way. This is my world. You can't cheat me. You're all of you cheaters.
He turned to Jolene.
You little witch, you're a cheat. I know who you are.
Jolene looked down.
You're Jolene. You're an honest girl.
Hey, you're a cheater. You cheated to get here.
I did not.
Frieza sneered.
You're a witch, aren't you? You have the power to turn things to gold. You should have been here to help us.
Jolene said nothing.
You should have been here to help us. Why weren't you here to help us?
Because I am a witch, I was doing what I needed to do.
Jolene formed a fist, prepared to fight Frieza head on. Frieza laughed.
You can't fight me. I am the king, you. Ah, but a girl will have no chance.
I have as much of a chance as you do.
Jolene!
Rainbow Dash shouted. She threw the Emerald Stone to the girl and she caught it out of the air. She could feel the hopes and dreams of the Emerald City, of her people, flowing through the stone. The dying wish of her father, the hope for the future, of a world free from the Nightmare Realm. Jolene held up the stone. She threw it at Frieza and shouted.
Blast the king.
The stone hit Frieza in the forehead, and he collapsed to the ground. The battle was over. The Grand Alliance had won. Roxy looked up from the unconscious Frieza to Jolene in awe. Jolene turned to her friends.
There's something I must do.
What?
Trust me.
Do what you need to do.
Pearl said.
We'll be waiting for you here.
Goodbye, Jolene.
Jolene nodded. She picked up the stone and went into the castle, with the emerald glowing in her hand. She entered the throne room where she found the Nightmare Tyrant sitting on his throne. His eyes were closed as if in a deep sleep.
So you have come. You are here to slay me.
I'm not going to kill you.
If you did not intend to kill me, then why are you here?
I want you to know why I am here. I am here to save the world from your terrible tyranny.
I did not want to rule this world, you know.
The Nightmare Tyrant said.
All I wanted was to sate my hunger, but there's just not enough. I am so very hungry.
I'm here to give you what you crave.
Jolene said.
What a craft.
A stone of Volcar.
The Nightmare Tyrant smiled and said.
Such a powerful wish. An impossible wish. What do you know of it? Little girl, you don't even look to be a quarter of my size.
I do.
Jolene said.
Then you must know what I need in order to regain my full power. Little girl, what I need is a drop of your blood.
Jolene offered her left arm.
A drop of my blood.
She asked.
Yes, such a powerful wish as yours must have its price.
I don't think you have the power to grant it.
Jolene said. The Nightmare Tyrant smiled.
There are more on their way, aren't there?
He said.
I've made so many enemies.
Yes, there's no left who are loyal to you.
The Nightmare Tyrant looked to the west.
There's one. I wish to speak with him. I want to show him my new discoveries. I would show him my new power. He is the one I will call to grant my wish. I will give him the Stone of Volcar, and I will grant him other great gifts as well.
The Nightmare Tyrant stood.
I have no need of this stone. You are dismissed. Little girl, watch out for my newfound Ollies. They will seek to kill you.
Ollies.
The Nightmare Tyrant laughed.
Oh yes, they are my greatest discovery. I have Ollies now. Powerful Ollies. I will bring forth my greatest Ollie yet. The one I have been waiting for. He will bring me what I want. The Stone of Volcar. And more. The world will tremble, we will tremble. I will break you.
The two stood in empty silence. Soon the soft clopping of hoofs could be heard. Pinkie Pie walked up behind Jolene.
Oh, this is a familiar presence.
The Nightmare Tyrant said.
So there was some remnant of the Black Fang after all.
The Black Fang.
Yes! The Black Fang! You do know who I am, don't you?
I know who you are.
Said Jolene.
No, you don't! See before you the Nightmare Tyrant? Lord of Nightmares?
No, I'm Jolene and I'm afraid of yours.
Black Fang.
The Nightmare Tyrant said and laughed.
Well, wonders never cease. The Black Fang, the daughter of Oz, perhaps everyone I've ever consumed will come back to haunt me in some form today.
You don't sound very happy with your lot in life.
Jolene said.
Nor should I be.
You're a prisoner here.
I am a prisoner to my own hunger.
I can get you back home.
The Nightmare Tyrant gazed at Jolene.
My home is long gone, child.
He said.
Do you not see before you a reflection of what you once were? A bright shining spirit.
I'm not that anymore.
No?
The Nightmare Tyrant laughed.
You are now a shadow of that former you. A shadow of what could have been. You are not fit to rule over anything. You are not fit to even exist. You are nothing, Jolene. You are not even a threat to me anymore. You are simply a memory of what could have been.
I'm not going to let you get away with this.
The Nightmare Tyrant shrugged.
What can you do?
I can fight you.
Jolene said.
Fight me, go on, try to kill me. See if you can kill the Nightmare Tyrant, the greatest of all tyrants.
I would never try to kill you.
Oh, you would try and you would try and you would try. You would spend a millennia trying to kill me, and all to no avail.
Maybe not, but she has weakened you.
Rang out a new voice. The voice of the Nightmare Queen. The Nightmare Tyrant turned from Jolene to the Nightmare Queen.
If you haven't noticed,
He said.
I'm not the only prisoner here.
That remains to be seen.
Said the Nightmare Queen.
What do you want of me?
The Nightmare Tyrant said.
I want you to grant my greatest wish.
You've already had 2 great wishes granted.
The Nightmare Queen frowned.
I want you today.
You can't kill me.
The Nightmare Tyrant said.
Oh, I can't. Watch this.
The Nightmare Queen threw a fireball at the Nightmare Tyrant. The Nightmare Tyrant raised his hand, and it was as if a gentle breeze flew the fire towards the Nightmare Tyrant, and he caught the flame and threw it back at the Nightmare Queen. The fire blew her hair and singed her wings, but she remained unharmed. She laughed and threw another fireball at the Nightmare Tyrant. This time the fire caught him. He screamed and howled and begged for mercy, but the Nightmare Queen was no longer the Fluttershy of the olden times. She had no mercy left, not for him. Fluttershy spread her wings, glaring at the burning tyrant. Pinkie Pie and Jolene looked to each other, and they both blasted him with their power. A burst of wind blew the 3 of them aside, and they crashed into the wall. The Nightmare Tyrant flew at them with his chainsaw arms. The Nightmare Tyrant saw he was no longer a match for the 3 of them, and he ran and hid behind a corner. Jolene looked behind her.
See,
She said.
I told you I could get you home.
You can't kill me.
The Nightmare Tyrant said.
Maybe not.
Fluttershy said, approaching his hiding place.
But I can do what you've done to so many others.
The Nightmare Tyrant cowered before her.
No, please, don't. I beg of you.
The Nightmare Queen inhaled deeply. What was left of the Nightmare Tyrant drifted from him, and it was as if he was just smoke in the wind as she swallowed his essence into herself.
You can't kill me.
The Nightmare Tyrant said.
I'm the one who can get you home.
You are not fit to rule over anything.
The Nightmare Queen said. Jolene and Pinkie Pie watched on as the Nightmare Tyrant was consumed by Fluttershy. After he was gone, she breathed a sigh of relief.
I'm free of another tyrant.
She said.
We are free of him too.
Said Jolene.
Yes!
Said Pinkie Pie.
We should get home.
Yes, I think so.
Said Fluttershy.
Let us leave this place. There is one thing I've been wanting to do for a very long time.
Fluttershy smiled and led them outside, where all their friends were waiting. The Nightmare Tyrant had hoped that he would be able to get Jolene back home, so he could use her power to try and make the Nightmare Tyrant queen. None of that mattered anymore. He was but a memory, one who had brought destruction in his wake. And so that's why I decided to cut things off for our Season 3 finale. One unfortunate side effect of the way I've chosen to illustrate the story is that action-packed episodes like this one tend to be largely fueled by the viewer's imaginations, but I hope you're able to enjoy the ride nonetheless. I did my best to remind the AI of story threads from earlier in the season, and I'm happy with the trio we got confronting the Nightmare Tyrant at the end. I plan to take at least a week off from regular uploads between the seasons. Maybe more, it's hard to say right now, we'll see how things go. But in the meantime, I'll go get the long-form version of this season up, as well as the soundtrack. Those should be up relatively soon, I hope. I also hope all of you enjoyed this season, and, next time we'll see the fallout of this battle, and the Nightmare Tyrant's defeat, and different characters' responses to that. Also, I got a few more pieces of fan art sent my way. We've got some art here of Bart as the King of the Silver River, I assume, as well as the Nightmare Tyrant and the Nightmare King. And if you have any art you'd like to send my way, the email for that is in the description, just look there. Thank you again for watching, and if you happen to miss the previous episode, here's a clip.
Try help me out. Come closer so I can get a better focus on you.
You're going to use magic.
Bart asked.
Don't worry.
Daphne said.
I won't harm you. Well, not physically. Anyway.
You might hurt my feelings.